Hello, dear all. I'm Yvon Donko, software engineer and product manager, also senior consultant at CRM Asset Consulting. We are specialized in Microsoft technologies, Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and so on. So I have a huge series of videos on Power Automate specifically, and we will go through how to build things like custom connectors from scratch for MailChimp, for Zoom, and many other automations. So this is the first video, and in today's videos, I will show you how to build a custom connector for Zoom. Okay, so basically, when you need to integrate two systems or to collect information from one system to bring it back to Dynamics 365, as in the case on this project I work on, you need to have a connector. Okay, so why do I need to build a custom connector for Zoom? It's true that an existing connector exists, but I had issues to make it work. And you know, when a connector is not built by Microsoft itself, sometimes it can be delicate to work with it in a project, because if the one who build the connector stop maintaining it or stop work on it, you can get into troubles. So this is the scenario. You know, the organization for whom we are working to customize their Dynamic 365, they used to have issues on who are those who participate in their Zoom meetings, who are those who register for their Zoom meetings. They don't know. They don't have this information, and it's very difficult because they have too much Zoom meetings they organize, and they really need to know who are those who register or who participate to their Zoom meeting. So that is why I have been obliged to build a custom connector from scratch. So in this video, I will show you how to do it. First of all, when you need to integrate two systems, it is better to start integrating that system with Postman, which is basically an API on which you can test your integration before to manage the other integration. So this is Postman. Okay, you can create your account on Postman, or even install Postman app on your computer. So first thing to do when you need to integrate, so specifically for Zoom, we need to go on the Zoom app marketplace and create a Zoom application. Then give rights to this Zoom application, and you will also get the client ID secret, client secret, and so on. This information will be used to put it in Postman and even on Power Automate. After I will show you how. So to create a Zoom app is quite simple. You can go on Develop, Build App to create a new one. But for now, I've already created apps. So I'm just going to log in, and I will get the list of apps displayed. I have two apps that I will use. So this app test is already integrated with Postman. So I will show you or explain you how I made the integration. Then we will test the integration on Postman, and then we will go on Power Automate. So you just need to click on Develop, Build App. Then you need to you will get the client ID generated automatically and the client secret. Okay. You also need to enter the redirect URL for auth. Okay, this URL comes from Postman site. So let me show you. Okay, so browser callback. Let me scroll up. Authorization. Okay, this is the callback URL you need to take from Postman and put it in your app as the redirect URL for auth. Okay, then add a low list, so you enter the same URL basically. So once you are done with the app credential, you just go on information, you give the app a name, description, long description, and this is my name, my professional email, and so on. So once you are done, you now go on feature. Okay, I don't think you need to enter something. Now scope, very important. You need to give your app rights, what the app will be able to perform. Okay, so you give different rights. Then you move on activation, and you will click on add to publish your app. Once it is done here, you go back on Postman. Okay, authenticate URL or URL, you will enter this URL, and you don't create it. You just need to read the Zoom API documentation to get this information. Even the access token URL is from Zoom developer API reference. So you will get all you need from here. And then the client ID, okay, you will get the client ID from here. This is the client ID you will put on Postman, and the client secret you add it. Okay, a scope, you are not obliged to define a scope. In this case, the system will just use the same rights you gave to the app while creating the app Zoom app marketplace. So once you are done, we can click on get new access token, collecting access token, authentication complete. I click on proceed, use token, and I'm done. I can start testing the method, post, get, and so on. So I have a Zoom meeting, and several people have registered to that meeting. This is Zoom meeting ID. So I just need to read the Zoom API documentation in order to know how to collect information or post requests to Zoom API. For instance, meeting registrant. Let us go to the Zoom API, list meeting registrant. Okay, I click on it, and they will tell me how to get the list meeting registrant. So you see /meeting/ meeting ID as a parameter and registrant. So if we go back here, you see /meeting, I pass the ID as a parameter and /registrant. So now if I click on send, I will get a result normally. So let me scroll up. Okay, you see. So this is all the registrant to this Zoom meeting, to the Zoom meeting having this ID. So this is the first registrant. This is the second registrant. Okay. This is the third registration. So my get method works well and is perfect. So let us now maybe test a post request. Okay, so we select post from here. I want to create a new Zoom meeting from Postman, and that meeting must be created in Zoom automatically. So I just go on the Zoom API meeting, get a meeting. I need to create, okay, post, create a meeting. Okay, so /user ID meeting, create a meeting for a user. For user level app, pass the me value instead of user ID. Okay, so I just need to copy this URL. I go back from here. I put here /user. I should put me from here. Since it is a post method, I need to give parameters, because if you need to create a Zoom meeting, you need to give some information, okay, like the day of the meeting or the duration or the meeting name. So I need to pass a body in which I define all the mandatory details to create a meeting. So let us say automated Zoom meeting. Okay, one, duration 30 minutes, and the start time I can select 2023 March. Let us say today 12. Okay, approval time 0. Okay, now it's a post, and this is the URL. I can click on send. Sending. Okay, it is sent. So this is the response, okay, from Postman. This is the topic, okay, and my meeting is well created. So we can go on Zoom to see that meeting. So let me refresh from here. Okay, automated Zoom meeting 1. Okay, so this is my meeting created automatically. So that is fine. So once the integration between Postman and Zoom works well like that, you can now move to Power Automate to create your custom connector. So let us go. So this is the custom connector. Let me edit and I will explain you how I created that. It's quite simple. So you go on custom connector, you add a new connector, then this is the connector logo. It's up to you. You can just upload any image, but of course it's important to choose a meaningful image. Icon background color is up to you. So you give the connector a description. Okay, so scheme is HTTPS. Okay, HTTPS because that is what we read on the Zoom API documentation. So we don't choose like you want. So you need to read the API documentation, even the host. Okay, if we go on the Zoom API, so this is the host. Okay, so you enter the host, the base URL is /. Now you move on the security tab. As I told you before, anything you enter there is you read it from Zoom API. So authentication type implemented by Zoom is auth 2.0. That is why I've chosen that. So Identity provider is generic O2 provided by the Zoom API doc. Client ID, okay, so let me click on manage. This is the app, the Zoom app I've used to make the integration with Power Automate. So this is the client ID. I will enter client secret, okay. I will enter. So you enter the client ID, the authorization URL, token URL, refresh, all provided by Zoom API. You enter it. Scope, you can leave it blank, empty, and the system will just use the scope or the rights you gave to the app while creating it. Once you are done with this information, you can save. Once you save, Power Automate will generate a redirect URL, okay, this URL, and you will take this URL to put it, okay, here on the Zoom app site as the redirect URL for auth. This is that URL I have entered. Okay, once you are done with the security tab, you now go on definition. It is here you will create all the actions your connector will be able to perform, okay? Like create a meeting, okay? This is my first action. So you give the name, you give a description, operation ID, create a meeting. So you should write it without any space, operation ID. And visibility important, yes, you can set it as important to see it at the top when you will, the connector will list your actions. So once you have selected the visibility, the request now, okay, so Zoom tells us that this is the request URL for creating a Zoom meeting, okay? So you enter it, so you click on import, you will provide this this link, and you will also define a body. You will pass a JSON object, okay, with all the needful parameters. Approval type, I think approval type is something mandatory that you should you must always define while creating a Zoom meeting. So you also pass the duration, start time, and topic, okay? So when you read the API documentation, be able to easily build that JSON object to pass it as the body parameters. So once you are done, it's okay, your action is ready. So if I maybe get registration, okay, so this is the get request. So you give the name, description, operation ID, visibility, and you click on import from sample. You will pass this URL, okay. So when you have meeting ID in curly braces like this, it means it will be a parameter. So to get registration to a meeting, you need to pass the meeting ID, of course. So once you are done, it's okay. And if you need to add more actions, it's up to you. If it is provided by the Zoom API, you can also implement these actions from here. Once you are done, you can click save to record your custom connector. And this swap editor is useful if you need to get the code, okay, to get the raw code of your custom connector. You can swap the editor and you can get the code from here. It's sometimes useful to, when you build your connector and it is working, you can copy the code and store it somewhere. If you make changes and so on, and at the end of the day your connector does not work as expected, you can roll back by just copy the code you have stored, you have previously stored somewhere, to put it back here, and you are done. So the connector is done. This is simply how we can build a custom connector for Zoom. Okay, so in the next video, we will see how to use the Qt connector to perform many actions from Dynamics 365. Many thanks for watching. See you next time for the next video.